Hey, hello everyone. My name is Alexandro, and I'm going to start talking about Art Nouveau. To begin commenting this movement, I'm going to give you a glance about a little bit of historical context. Well, this movement started around the years of 1870 and 1914. A period of peace came into existence in Europe. Since there were no major international war conflicts, and as an effect of the Second Industrial Revolution, there was also a period of economic expansion. Well, the industrialization allowed an increase of employment, which resulted in an increase of economic of all the families around Europe. Well, this led to a notable amount of upgrades in nutrition, medicines, and hygiene, which caused but significant growth in population and a phenomenon known as urbanization. Well, consequently, an optimistic and industrialized urban society was born. They perceived themselves as a modern, cosmopolitan, and dynamic society with great trust in scientific and technological progress as a means to make everyone's lives better. This period in time is also known as the Belle Epoque because of this atmosphere of optimism and confidence about the future. And well, this was a characteristic of the European society. Thus, the Art Nouveau emerged. The Art Nouveau has two phases. Well, Art Nouveau was one of the modern art movements that flourished throughout Europe and America in the late 1800s. It became popular due to its successful tear down of hierarchies between the arts, and it enabled artists to enrich the lives of public by improving the design of ordinary spaces and domestic objects. Art Nouveau began as a deliberate attempt to create a new style free of the imitative historicism that dominated much of the 19th century art and design. In other words, many artists, graphic designers, and architects rebelled against the formal classical approaches to design. They rejected the excess of the Victorian era and its inconvenient ornamental features. They wanted to create a new art that was young, free, and modern. Here it is an example of an artwork from the Art Nouveau movement. Some of the most famous artists from the Art Nouveau were Charles René Mackintosh, Hector Guimard, Alphonse Mucha, Gustave Klimt, Emile Gallet, Margaret MacDonald, Aubrey Beardsley, and Otto Wagner. Here are some of the artworks made by some of these artists. The first one is one from Charles René Mackintosh. The second one, here we can see one of the works made by Gustav Klimt, which is one of the most traditional ways to represent the Art Nouveau. And the next one it was made by Margaret MacDonald. Well, talking about art and architecture, here we have one of the most important places in the Art Nouveau era, which is the Chat Noir. And it was an imposing black hat on a yellow background with red lettering, and it is or it was, Parisian cabaret, an advertising that stand in well, it was a poster for a Parisian cabaret in the late 19th century called the Chat Noir. The cabaret in question, located in the Montmartre district, emerged as a small cafe establishment that brought together important painters and poets of the time. Although in less than 2 decades, the famous place had to close its doors, and it became a hotspot in Parisian society, receiving such influential characters as Picasso himself within its walls. And here we have the poster about the black hat that was outside the Chat Noir, and well, this is the poster. Now let's talk a little bit about how did Art Nouveau influence architecture and painting. Well, this movement was defined by the asymmetry, irregularity, and fluidity of lines, geometric shapes, meaning they were wavy, organic, and flowy. A major influence on the aesthetics of the movement were the forms of nature stylized and idealized to obtain decorative and elegant lines. They used malleable, colorful, and transparent materials such as glass, enamels, woods, and metals. The structure and ornamentation of the objects were integrated, adapting form to function. It also sought to integrate art and industry to mass produce products with an aesthetic design according to the parameters of the style. The Art Nouveau has a big impact in architecture, and in which the movement manifested itself most clearly, where they tried to integrate all the elements of the building. They used reinforced concrete, iron, and steel for their malleability to produce whimsical shapes. With the combination of all these elements, they achieved the creation of effects of fantasy, ethereal atmosphere, and in some cases, an atmosphere of instability. And buildings are often covered with colorful mosaics, many made with natural stones. Here we have some examples of the architecture from this era. The first one are some arch, and the next one are some stairs. The next one is a building with a fantastic representation in the front. And next, I'm going to talk about one of the most famous or one of the most representative architecture of this era, which is located in the Hotel Tassel in Belgium, in the city of Brussels, which is also known as the Mayor Townhouse or the Hotel Tassel. This building was designed by the architect Victor Horta for the scientist and professor Émile Tassel, and was built from 1892 to 1893. This building is considered the first true Art Nouveau building because of its highly innovative plan and its groundbreaking use of materials and decoration. It has an innovative open floor plan and use of natural light. The materials used on the inside are purposefully visible and conform to the Art Nouveau style by being modeled after organic forms. Well, now I'm going to show you the building, the stairs, and where you can appreciate it. Well, to conclude this movement or concluding the talk about this style of art, it was a short-living style of art. Art Nouveau was short-lived despite being in the international scope for approximately 45 years. Uh, though its brief incandescence served as precursor of modernism. Some people used to say that modernism and Art Nouveau are the same, but they are kind of different. This was because modernism emphasized function over form and the elimination of superfluous ornamentation. Art Nouveau was exotic, decadent, and ultimately contemporary. Uh, avoiding all that was established, the artist purposefully set out to revolutionize art and create something new, hence Art Nouveau. Within the modernism, that is another style of art. And well, that was it, and I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. Thanks y'all for your attention and your time. Hope you have a good vacations.